Welcome back. Today's health tip is brought to you by Desert View Hospital. Well, as the elderly population in the United States continues to grow, the number of older adults who will suffer from dementia will also increase. But by how much? A new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association Internal Medicine looked at whether the prevalence of dementia has changed from 2000 to 2012.
Dementia affects 4 to 5 million older adults in the United States, as well as their families and government programs. A new study in JAMA Internal Medicine looks at how the prevalence of dementia has changed from 2000 to 2012.
Dementia is characterized by declines in memory and other cognitive functions, things like speech and the ability to plan and organize one's day. We found that the prevalence of dementia declined significantly between 2000 and 2012, from about 11.5% down to about 9%.
Dr. Kenneth Lange and co-authors studied more than 21,000 U.S. adults over the age of 65 using data from the Health and Retirement Study from 2000 and 2012. Lange says he attributes the decline in dementia prevalence to 2 factors: increases in the education level among this group and better treatments for cardiovascular risk factors like diabetes, obesity, and hypertension.
This suggests that a 75-year-old today has a lower risk of having dementia than a 75-year-old 10 or 20 years ago. Both increases in education and better control of cardiovascular risk factors may be important in explaining some of this decline.
Dr. Lange says more work needs to be done both in the U.S. and abroad to keep dementia trends on the decline.
Even without a big breakthrough in a medication or other kind of intervention that might decrease Alzheimer's risk or change the course of Alzheimer's, that it appears that there's things that we can do to decrease risk.
Laura Berger, The JAMA Report.
The number of older adults with dementia in the United States and around the world is expected to grow up to 3-fold by 2050.
Well, 4 suspects have been charged in connection with the attack on a special needs teen that was streamed on Facebook Live. 18-year-old Jordan Hill, 18-year-old Tesfaye Cooper, 18-year-old Brittany Covington, and 24-year-old Tanisha Covington have each been charged with a hate crime, felony aggravated kidnapping, aggravated unlawful restraint, and aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. This all happened in Chicago. Police say the teen was tied up for 4 or 5 hours. The 4 suspects allegedly tied him up and shouted racial slurs at the young man. The victim apparently is white, and the suspects are African American. In the video of the attack, it shows the 18-year-old victim cowering in a corner of a room, tied up with his mouth bound in plastic. One assailant slashes his sweatshirt with a knife. The young woman streaming the abuse on Facebook Live repeatedly turns the camera back to herself. An attacker then takes a knife to the victim's head, carving a patch off his scalp. For the next 25 minutes, the abuse continues for the world to see. And the victim is repeatedly kicked and punched, but his screams are ignored.
And a birthday celebration is being held for the victim of a fatal accident. Christine Weir died in September when the car her fiancé was driving was struck by a truck driven by an alleged drunk driver. Weir, who was in the passenger seat at the time of the crash, didn't have her driver's license because, ironically, according to her friend, she had feared for years that she would die in a crash.
Her birthday is January 11th next week, so we're doing a balloon thing for her in celebration of her birthday.
And you're going to have that on what date?
January 15th at 10 a.m. at the crash site.
Tell me about Christine.
Oh, Christine was a great person. It's a big loss for not just her fiance, but all her coworkers that have known her for so long. Mm-hmm. As you see in the pictures, she's just a bright, bubbly person.
A lot of people feel a lot for this accident that happened on the morning of Fall Festival at the parade. What date was that?
September 24th.
When she was being driven to work by her fiance.
Yes.
To Walmart. And
Yes.
there was an accident, suspected drunk driving accident. A female struck their vehicle. Christine died on impact, right?
Yes, that's what I've been told.
And how is Brian doing?
Brian is doing as best as he can be. You know, holidays and
He had a difficult time going through the wedding date because they had a date scheduled to be married. They had just purchased the house,
Yes.
went through the holidays, and now the birthday.
They had actually had her service the day before they were supposed to get married.
Everybody's invited to this birthday party?
Anybody who wants to come join us, we'd like everybody to bring a orange balloon, helium balloon, and we're going to write messages on it and send it to her to happen.
How old would she be?
34.
How's her family?
Her family's doing okay. They're all doing as well as can be expected.
Difficult for such a vivacious person.
Yes.
She was very, very lively and a big loss for our community here. I know that the suspect in the case, January 30th, they're going to be going into court. Are you going to be there?
I am going to do my best to be there. Wearing orange. That was Christine's favorite color, so that's why we do orange.
All right, so everybody, what time should they gather?
About 9:45, 10 o'clock.
In the morning?
Yes.
All right, you can come on by and you're going to have a little celebration, a little remembrance for Christine.
Celebration of her birthday, celebration of her life, just to tell her happy birthday and send her messages in heaven, you know.
Right there at the crash site, at the corner
Yes.
of Dandelion and Honeysuckle.
Yes.
Right near Ian Deutsch Memorial Park.
Yes, right where the memorial actually is still there.
All right, more of your local news when we return.